कोटि जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन हरिरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि माधवा कुञ्जविहारी राधा माधवा कुञ्जविहारी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी माधवा गिरिवरधारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nilamadharada, Nilamadhri Radhike. Nilamadhri Radhike. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudev, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Ki Jai, Ki Jai, Jai Gurudev.
They are saying that audio is not clear. I think that's primarily due to the instruments that are being played. So, Gayatri, is this clear now?
Now it's very clear, Prabhu. Thank you.
Perfect. I think earlier, because of the instruments, the Zoom audio is generally clear.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, but I think now it will be clear. Okay.
Because some of the transcendental sounds have been cut in the
Zoom doesn't
transmission.
understand, it's material.
Hare Krishna.
Johnny? Zoom, and we have few people in person, and more people are coming in person. We'll get started. Okay, over to Chaitanya
Okay,
Sundara.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for arranging this wonderful program. You know, I felt like this is calling for me, particularly as I was just sharing. When Prabhuji reached out, and then I chose this one without realizing, you know, what I chose. But then the more I meditated on this and researched on this verse and understood the essence, I felt like it was for my own purification. So what I'm going to share today, there might be a lot of mistakes. I'm sure a lot of people on the call may be more knowledgeable. So please forgive me if there are any mistakes. But I'll try to do my sincere effort to share the bhava or the tattva that I have understood. And I want to continue to perfect that effort in my consciousness. So with that said, let's get started with Mangalacharana prayers. Is everyone able to hear me okay online?
Yes, Prabhuji, super clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. So let's start with the Mangalacharana prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, Hare Krishna. So, welcome to today's session on. I can get that. Good.
Yeah.
Can I hide this even?
Maybe you can bring those two panels down the bottom.
Hide video panel. Hide toolbar, no? Hide. Okay. Better. Shri Gurvastakam. How many of us know about this? You all know, right? Because if you are being a Vaishnava, I know some of them are new. Some of the new devotees also have joined from Bhagavad Gita classes. So some of you, it is new. But for devotees that have been already in the process of initiation or initiated, they may have come to the temple. And this is the first prayer that we sing at the temple early in the morning. In Mangalarti, yeah, this is the first prayer that we do. It's a worship to the Guru. So we're going to learn about, like, first of all, who has actually written this in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. So there is actually, Gurvastakam is an accepted philosophy that Guru is the means through which we attain the Lord. And whether it is in the Mayavad philosophy or here, there is an acceptance of Guru Tattva in general. There's also Shankaracharya written Gurvastakam. That's also quite popular. Of course, in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is Gurvastakam written by, in our lineage, by, who's the author of this one? Prabhu knows. Yeah, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. So those of you who have read Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada at the end of introduction, he writes down our parampara, starting from Krishna and all the way to, Srila Prabhupada himself. So in that, the 27th name is Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. So he is in our lineage. So he is in our Parama Acharya, one of the Parama Acharyas for us. And from there, Baladev Vidya Bhushan. And after that, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Jagannath Das Babaji, then Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then Srila Prabhupada. So this is coming in our parampara. So the essence of this particular Gurvastakam is to understand the mood for us, but also more importantly, the Guru that we accept and the worship, what is that they are experiencing. And the whole essence of the philosophy and both the process and the goal is actually understood if we understand these verses. So as we get into the details, we'll see it. So first of all, this was written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also has written many, many major scriptures, our books in our parampara. But this one, as we'll see some of the tidbits, is actually spontaneous writing. This is one of those things he didn't meditate separately to write, like, okay, I have to write this. So it was an inspiration from his guru. He comes in the lineage of our own parampara, but then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has initiated Narottama Das Thakur, and from there his parampara starts, from Lokanath Goswami through Lokanath Goswami, Narottama Das Thakur, and there are some less known gurus. One is Ganga Narayan Chakravarti Thakur. From there, Srila Krishna Charan Chakravarti Thakur, and then to that his immediate guru Radha Raman Chakravarti Thakur, and then from there Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this is something that is a jewel for Vaishnavas, because by chanting this one, we can remember the Guru, because Guru is non-different from Krishna. But we also have to understand ours is Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. So Guru is non-different from Krishna, but Guru is also different from Krishna. So in fact, in one of the verses, particularly the 7th verse, talks about exactly that. So we'll also spend on that one. But Guru is, if you think about it, there are so many philosophers, so many scientists, and almost none of them have been able to figure out that we're actually in illusion. In illusion. Right? But only Guru, who's a messenger sent by Krishna. Obviously, Krishna himself comes. Atma Maya, sometimes he's a Pritranaya, Sadhunam, Vinashaya, Dushkrutam, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuga Yuga. He comes. But, for example, in this Yuga, he came 5,000 plus years ago. We don't even know where we were at that time. The fact that we are here still, most likely we were not there. Right? So what are the chances that we have to wait for Krishna to appear? So it's almost, millions of lifetimes we may have to take before we again get even an opportunity potentially to be in the same time when the Bhagavan himself appears. For that, we also have to be qualified to get there. But on the other hand, Guru is accessible, because the Guru Tattva, again, Lord is so merciful, is everywhere. You need a Guru. There is actually, Paramatma is in your heart. So from within also he is inspiring and he is revealing the knowledge. So that is the Chaitya Guru. But then he also sends a real person, real Guru. That Guru, either in the Siksha Guru or the Iksha Guru form, is there to break us out of this illusion. So when we worship this prayer or this particular Guru Vastakam, you can think of this as your own Guru if you're initiated. But it's not just one person. It's a Guru Tattva. It is representing the entire lineage. So the lineage all the way starting from Krishna himself. So when we think about this prayer, keep that in your mood. And then we sing this every day in the morning. So obviously we're here to develop Krishna Prema, right? Like to worship the Lord and to develop love for Lord. Then why don't we directly start worshipping Krishna? What is the need for starting with, Guru Ashtakam? So in fact, in Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna speaks to Uddhava, one of his devotees, very dear devotees. So he says, Na tadha me priyatama. Not that much dear. Priyatama means like dear, somebody who's very dear to me. Who are not dear to him, he's saying, Atma Yonir. That is, who came out of Lord Vishnu's Yoni, is Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is also not as dear to me. Not Shankaraha, not even Shiva. Not just Sankarshana. Sankarshana is his own expansion, in Chaturvyuhas. Two Chaturvyuhas come, and in each of them, Sankarshana is their Lord. But then he says, even he is not as dear to him. Na Shrir, na Lakshmi Devi also. And na Naiva Atmacha, that is my own self also. Even my own self is not that dear to me. Yatha Bhavan. Bhavan means you. Yatha, my devotee. So, in this case, by worshipping Guru as the first person early in the morning, we are actually pleasing Lord Krishna, because we are pleasing or we are praising the glories of the Guru who's very dear to Krishna. So, it's like, I want to meet the president. First, I have to go through the PA, personal assistant. Even if you are a friend to him, you can't get on the schedule if you don't go through the PA to get on the calendar. So in the same way, we cannot get association with Krishna, or there won't be acceptance by Krishna. In fact, recently in Bhagavatam, it is written that Mahamantra is accessible everywhere. So then what is the need for Guru? I can just chant the Mahamantra and then reach Krishna. No, the world's first two-factor authentication was created by Krishna. What is the two-factor authentication? You might know the password, but until Krishna checks with the Guru, that password doesn't have, the next level access. So you will not be able to get access to your account.
There might be very good commentators out there, but because you have
Hare Krishna.
even if you're talking old and like actually say the same things over and
So this is very important. We all think that everything, for that matter, that's why Vaishnavas understand that everything comes from Krishna, right? Because Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So all technology concepts also come from Krishna. So in this case, Krishna actually checks, okay, this devotee is putting efforts to chant, but then, can I trust this devotee's intention? That's why we have to be in the parampara. And in the parampara, when the Guru gives us Diksha, that's when we are bona fide. Now that mantra has the potency. So that's why we have to understand the significance of Guru. And then as we are starting our day early in the morning, first thing that we have to bow down to is to our Guru. And in our parampara, the preeminent Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. Because without his efforts and without his actually sacrifice of his entire life for the propagation of this holy name, we wouldn't be speaking this Krishna Kada or understanding this Guru Tattva today. So let's worship our Gurus and the Guru Parampara, and then let's get started. So specifically about Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, because we only know about Prabhupada and maybe Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur a little bit. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually from just almost like Nimai Pandit. He's actually considered as an incarnation of Rupa Goswami. How many of us know Rupa Goswami is the same time as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the direct disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we are all considered Rupa Anugas. So Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, who in the Gaura Tattva is Rupa Goswami, but in the original Krishna Tattva, he was the Rupa Manjari. he understood the bhava of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then codified the entire bhakti as a process for all of us to follow. Till the time, they were all saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and just by his association, some of them are experiencing. But then how does this bhakti actually become something that, because he also predicted that everywhere in the world, Pritiviti Nagaradi, this name has to be, chanted, with love and devotion everywhere across the world, every nook and corner of the world. But how to actually make that happen? It's like, a CEO comes up with an idea. But then it's for the rest of the team to actually materialize and make it happen. And it's like that. Rupa Goswami was the one who actually took the desire of Srila Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then understood how any person, even in ignorance, how he can start from basically baseline of 0 and achieve the ultimate Krishna Prema. So this whole thing is a process. It's a very scientific process. And he has written specifically Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is nothing but a scientific study of how we start from sadhana bhakti, a process in which we start doing things, even though we may not be experiencing the ultimate state, but we do things. And that process itself purifies us over time to get to the state of actually bhava bhakti and eventually prema bhakti. So, in that same, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is considered as an incarnation of Rupa Goswami himself, because he came back and then again expounded on his own literature from the past, as well as further given us this Guru Tattva in this Gurvastakam. He was very young, but at the very young age only, he was very powerful Sanskrit scholar. He used to go to debates and win every debate, just very similar to Nimai Pandit. In fact, to the point where his parents were afraid that, if he goes like this, then he may not actually be, taking care of the household things. So they get him married at a very young age. Some of the things we do, right? We hear like that. Okay, maybe get him married and he'll settle down and then, balance it. And then after marriage, within a year only, he leaves and goes to Vrindavan. And then by then he already had a guru. So the parents again request the Guruji, Gurudev, to say he has absconded from his household activities. So please ask him to do it. Then Guru again sends a message. And then at the time, for him, he's already understood the tattva. So Guru's instruction is 100% all perfect. So as soon as the Guru calls him, he comes back. And then he says, whatever bhakti you want to do it with your wife and the family. Then they start doing bhakti. Then they start reading Bhagavatam. And then overnight till 3 o'clock, they keep discussing the Bhagavatam. And then they get into immersion. And even she was also very cooperative. But then Guru asks, so how's the life? It was wonderful, Gurudev. Thank you for allowing us to completely do this bhakti. This is now we're able to do even more. Then he understood. Okay, now you have reached that stage. You don't need this life, so go back to Vrindavan. So he goes back to Vrindavan. That's how he meditates and writes on all this bhakti literature for us. So wonderful for us to hear about him and to understand how our acharyas are nothing but, in this case, he was Vinoda Manjari. He was assisting in Krishna Lila. So there is Krishna Lila, what happened when Krishna was present, and then Gaur Lila. Gaur Lila is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. All the same Manjaris and all the servants of Lord Krishna also appeared here. So in the same way, he was considered originally Vinoda Manjari. So, and there is one significance also for us, particularly in the Srila Prabhupada's own journey. When Srila Prabhupada was considering about potentially coming to United States, because obviously his Guru has given instruction, he's dedicated his entire life, but he was trying to get inspiration. So he was reading that verse, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So he was actually meditating on his commentary. And he got the real inspiration. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. Means one who's resolute on this path, there is no deviation. It's one single focused mind to execute the mission. That actually gave him the inspiration to dedicate, even though he was in Vrindavan, probably the place that any devotee would want to end their life at. But Srila Prabhupada, at that age of 69, he decided that fulfilling his Guru's mission of spreading this Krishna consciousness in the West is his ultimate instruction by his Guru. So for him, he understood that that is the, that Ekeha Kurunandana, that is one single-minded focus he has to execute. So with that inspiration, he came. So that's why Srila Prabhupada writes about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur many times throughout.
See that he's an incarnation of the Ghost.
Yes. Yeah. So again, we already talked a little bit about it, but why do we chant this early in the morning? Brahma Muhurta, that's one reason. The 4 buckets is there, right? On the slide. Good. And I think you guys touched up on at least a couple of them. Let's see which. So obviously this is the tradition. In fact, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur himself, even though we sing the Ashtakams, if you remember Ashtakam and Dashakam, and then the 9th one is always, skipped actually, but it's called the Falashruti. Means it's the, it always says like, what is the benefit of chanting these 8 verses is written in the 9th one. So there is also a 9th one for this one, which we'll see. And then glorification of the spiritual master, we just understood. Why? Because Guru is the gateway to Krishna, and also pleasing Guru pleases Krishna. And we're also invoking the Lord's mercy. If I like, let's say, we all like naturally our kids, like if somebody starts praising my kid, like I'll take some attention also, right? It's like, oh, that person must be nice. So in the same way, Krishna also starts paying attention to us if our Guru is pleased. And then Brahma Muhurta, because it's also fundamental to any sadhana that you have to start early in the morning. So that being said, so this is that one. This is the English translation, but one who with great care and attention loudly recites this beautiful prayer to the spiritual master during the Brahma Muhurta obtains direct service to Krishna. This is the guarantee. Krishna, the Lord of Vrindavan, at the time of his death. So even if we just simply meditate on this throughout our lifetime and then be in that bhava, then also we'll remember Krishna at the time of death. Even if we don't remember, Krishna will remember or make us remember and then take us back to God. So that's the guarantee of this prayer. So with that said, so let's start with the first verse. Srishti, you want to sing and then lead us?
Should we set all the shlokas together first? And then
We can do, yeah, let's do that. Let's do one full, that way it sets the mood and otherwise this breaking. Okay,
Yeah.
this is 8 verses. So let's do the full Kirtan and then. You want to do it?
I'll just do it.
The Shruti.
Yeah.
You put it back?
It is done. Kirtan is done.
So while we're just getting set up here, any questions so far? Yes.
So, which is shown. Does that mean like the second button was saying you have to decide to be a spiritual master? So you have to have a spiritual master. You have to be a spiritual master.
So we spoke about that, the two-factor authentication. So of course, you have to understand that when we say spiritual master, there is, first of all, in your heart, let's say you're following Srila Prabhupada and you are sincerely committed to following him. You have, in a way, accepted him as the guru, right? But there is a bona fide way. So is it like mandatory that, but in the end, don't think that like some of the scientists and all, what they do is like, no, I don't want to accept any existing philosophy. I want to figure out myself. And that path will lead nowhere. That's what Krishna is guaranteeing. That way you will never reach Krishna, the full understanding of, Manushyanam sahasreshu, kaschit yatati siddhaye. Of thousands of people, one will try for perfection of understanding what is the truth. And yatatam api siddhanam, kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Of those that have endeavored for perfection, thousands of them, hardly one knows me in truth. So for us, luckily, our parampara starts with people who have understood Krishna, have come from Krishna's association. So let's not speculate anymore, right? That is the purity we need to develop. That, okay, this path is perfect, it's bona fide, it is as per the Shastra, because you hear what Krishna is saying, you hear what Bhagavatam is saying, you hear what Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying, you hear what your Guru is saying, and what we are following, everything is checking out. Everything is same. So what is the need for us to speculate anymore? And that also leads to why should we accept a Guru? Because Shastra is telling that is your definitive way to go back to Godhead. Now, at the same time, Shastra is, not saying that you must have a Diksha Guru. But in the Kali Yuga particularly, our mind is so, I know people who have come very close to serving, our gurus, our Harivilas Maharaj. But some people just walk away from that opportunity to serve them. And that's because Kali Yuga, our mind is so fickle. We think that we figured it out. We don't need to surrender. See, but then the whole knowledge Krishna is telling in the 13th chapter, it starts with humility. But what is humility if there is no surrender? Right? It's all speculation in our head. You are saying that we are humble, but then we are not willing to serve. In the same example, actually, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who's our Guru of Gurudev of Srila Prabhupada, he was very scholarly, right? Exceptional English, very well read, very qualified. But then his father asked him to go to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, right? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was illiterate from a material dimension. He was not trained, he was not educated. So, but his father insists him, if you don't get initiated from him, don't even come back. So what is the significance of that? Is that no matter how our material qualification is, materially intellectual we may be, we have to understand that this is a whole new dimension that's completely orthogonal to our material consciousness. So we have to accept the Guru Tattva, only then the mercy will flow. And the other thing we have to understand, and we'll see this one also in the verses, it's not just all our efforts. It's actually mercy flows through the Guru. So if we do 1%, then 99% comes the other way. So it's mathematically speaking, your chances of success are way more if you accept a Guru. So
yeah, just to add a point to Aman, to clarify your point, in addition to what Chaitanya Sundara mentioned. So, to get the maximum benefit, yes, you need to get initiated, you need to accept a spiritual master as Diksha Guru. But until that, you can accept a Shiksha Guru.
exactly.
So Harivilas Maharaj is the Shiksha Guru for all of us here. So you can accept Harivilas Maharaj as Shiksha Guru. And then start serving him, start hearing from him, and then offer these prayers to him to please Krishna. And he will show the path to find Diksha Guru. So he can be your Diksha Guru or someone else, whoever you are inspired by.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very heavy.
Yes.
Supposed to be a strong word, but is encouraged to go surrender to a non-material.
Correct.
That actually went in. Okay, that has to happen.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what I bring to the table in the material world.
Yes.
Surrender.
Yeah, it's understand this. They're completely orthogonal. And only when we understand that, and that example was, as we said, like, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's example is very, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, sorry, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's example is of accepting. All right, let's start with the full song, full prayers.
sāra-dāvānala-līd-loka pranaya karunya karadanatam
Sāra-dāvānala-līd-loka pranaya karunya gana-gana-tvam.
charanarvindam
Praptasya kalyana gunānavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Mahaprabhu ki tananitya gita Vadidramadhyan manasurasena. Romanchatam Shrutaranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vigrahara Yuktasya bhaktam chaniyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Chaturvidha Sri Bhagavat Prasado Swadvana Tripta Haribhakta Sangham. Krudvaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Sri Radhika Madhava Para Madhurya Leela Narubana.
Vande Shri Charanarvindam
Pratikshana Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Kunjayo no Tikeli Sidya Ya Libe Yukti Abekshaniya. Tadratidakya Dadivallabhasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Akshadari Tvena Samasta Shase Uttastadhama Vyadaiva Sabdi.
Vande Shri Charanarvindam.
Hindu Prabhoya Priyeva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasada Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. Dhyaya sumam sasya yashastri sangyam Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Vande Shri Charanarvindam.
Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Hare Krishna. It's a beautiful song, right? Like just by immersing ourselves, just the tune. But now, if we understand the meanings behind all those words, see how it can actually transport us to a whole new, consciousness. So I'm going to go back. So the first verse is sāra-dāvānala-līd ha-loka tranaya karunya ganaganatvam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru Sri Charanarvindam. So this is the official translation. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy. Just as a cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it, so the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master who is an ocean of auspicious qualities. So those of you who also can understand Sanskrit, each of these words. So that's why you will see that Many of our Acharya's songs, they may not be poetically also, as because they're bhava focused, right? But then this particular one, there's also significance because it's not only the full bhava is immersed in it, but it's also written according to the poetic standards. So that's why this also stands at a higher, stature than some of the other literature. So sāra-dāvānala-līd, tranaya karunya gana-ganatvam. So if we look at just some of the word for word, just understanding the meaning a little bit. Samsara, we live in this cycle of birth and death. That is samsara. This is the material existence. The fact that we have taken a body and then we have to die and then we have to keep going.
We are not sharing this screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. I think that's because you put a different view, I think. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. So the word for word, samsara is this cycle of birth and death. We don't know when we were actually originally come into this cycle. And we don't need to know that when we came, the fact that we will be here and we will eternally be almost be here. And, Harivilas Maharaj keeps saying that the fact that you have an eternal soul, if you don't realize, you will be eternally in this material world, period. And that means like we die and then take another life, die and take another life. Of course, our karma decides what kind of journey we take. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. So, but this is, the analogy that he's giving is like a forest fire. Why is forest fire the analogy that is given? Does anybody know how the forest fire actually starts? Like recently when there was forest fires in LA, they tried to figure out, how they started. They couldn't figure out. So the forest fire actually starts from within the forest, real forest. Of course, if somebody is arson, let's take that aside. We're talking about the genuine forest fire. The forest fire actually starts from within. Maybe two sticks are rubbing against each other. Maybe some, two leaves that are pretty dry are rubbing against each other. So those actions are enough to start that fire. And that fire will immediately catch onto everything else. So now you can see that the world that we currently live in, there's so many actions and reactions we're constantly facing. We don't know where the starting point was. But the fact that one thing leads to another, one thing leads to another, one thing leads to another, that's an eternal activity. So we are also in this cycle of not being able to figure out. See, we're always trying to work hard to get our life better. But what we don't know is that in the process of making things better, we are making things hard for somebody else, and there are reactions for that. Yes, you might get better and you go up. Okay, Prabhuji, I figured out, I read the whole Shastra and I figured out that I can become Brahmaji or Indraji. And so that is my path. Yeah, you should read the verse saying that, Kshine Punya means like as soon as your cycle of all the good karma is exhausted there, again, what happens? You'll come back to the earthly planet. And then we don't know. Again, once you come here, we don't know. There is no guarantee of your consciousness being pure. So again, our daily activities can lead us to all kinds of miseries. So again, we might go all the way down also. So these 8.4 million species, we may go up and down. So this is the samsara. This is the cycle. This is like a forest fire because there is no, nobody can figure out what the root cause is. But we are in it. So we have to accept. So imagine like, in a forest fire, what happens? There is no animal, doesn't matter. Big elephant, tiger, all of them are equally susceptible to being killed in this forest fire. Right? So the only way to get out of the forest fire is to give for the fire to extinguish by itself. But how will it extinguish by itself? Through the mercy of the cloud and rain. Right? It's very significant. See, let's say you, this forest in this case, if I go back to this picture before It's right next to the water. But then, if you are in the middle of that fire and you ask the ocean, like, Krishna, please come and stop this fire. Will the fire come by itself? Will the ocean come by itself? So Krishna is, hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. We are saying that he is the Karuna Sindhu. He is actually that ocean equivalent of all full of mercy. But then how will that ocean come and stop this fire? Cloud, only through the cloud. See the wonderful, beautiful creation of Krishna. No modern scientist has been able to figure out how to transport millions of gallons of water from one point to another point. Only Krishna could do it, even now. So this cloud, which carries this gigantic amount of water, it can know exactly if somebody needs that, it goes into that, it can stop it. But how will the cloud be formed? From the ocean, but there has to be somebody else who's the catalyst, sun. So this is where the Acharya's explanation is that ocean is Krishna. The sun is Srimati Radharani. So we need the mercy of Srimati Radharani for us to get the Guru, the cloud to form, and then for the cloud to come. And then what does the cloud dissipate on us? It's the rain, right? Pani. And that is Guru Vani. So what we hear from our Guru, the instructions, which is nothing but again, what is coming from Krishna only. So when we hear the bona fide parampara, what the water that is nothing but non-different from what Krishna is spoken and delivered upon us through Guru Vani. So the full cycle is complete now. So this is how Krishna is showing the mercy upon us. He is infinite, but we are finite beings. And for us to get the liberation from this existence, material existence, we have to get that mercy from our Guru. So it completes the picture for us now, like the significance of why Guru Tattva is important. So through this verse, we can understand that through Guru, we can cut the shackles of Maya. So this is Maya Tattva. So Guru is a representation of Maya Tattva. Is there any question or something? What is the exact time of Brahma Muhurta? There was a question earlier. It is actually 1.5 hours from the sunrise. Of course, here, before sunrise. Yeah, not after. That is exactly our wake-up time right now. Everybody is like, the first time before you corrected Prabhuji, they were thinking like we are waking up at Brahma Muhurta. But now the clarification is a difficult thing to process now. But yes, so it's according to Shastra, it's 1.5 hours before the sun. But of course, here in our
ఇలా కల్పన ఒక్కతే వెళ్తుంది, పిల్లలు వెళ్ళట్లేదు.
ఆయనకి ఎందుకు చెప్పాలి? నువ్వు ఆమె చెప్పుకున్నావుగా శాంతి తెలమని.
I can mute them.
మరి పెట్టమ్మా.
ఎందుకు అడుగుతున్నావు? నేను పెడతాను.
ఎప్పుడు పొద్దున్న చెప్పాను నీకు ఆ విషయము. చేసుకుంటాను, ఫోన్లో మాట్లాడుకుంటాను.
Hare Krishna. So that is the mercy of Prabhu.
It's interesting that sāra-dāvānala-līd in Shikshastakam also. Cheto darpanam
Marjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam. Yes.
So, and the analogy that you gave with cloud, right? So there also the holy name is compared to cloud. To extinguish the forest fire, what do we need? We need intense amount of rain and uninterrupted. No stopping with it. Similarly, the holy name, if we chant intensely,
correct,
uninterruptedly, then that cloud, the rain from that cloud only can extinguish the forest fire of samsara.
These are all connected actually. You will also see in other places also. The concept is actually, if you distill it down, it's very simple. We are in a problem space. We have to get out of this problem space. The solution is outside the problem space. Somebody from outside has to come and deliver us. That's it. In a very simple mathematical equation, that's what it is. These analogies and these examples are just to get us to realize that. So again, coming back to this particular verse, let's go to some of these examples. Close this one. So we're all afflicted people. So Tranaya Karunya Gana Ganatvam. So again, Ghana means like great amount. Basically, it's carrying that huge amounts of mercy on us and then drop it, like, not like the helicopter goes and then drops a little bit. Forest fire, we see, right? They couldn't stop it. We're talking about something that is uncontrollable. So the only way is to control through already existing mechanism, which is Krishna sent, in this case, for us, the Guru. And it's also said, this Guru is Kalyana Gunarnavasya. He is, Arnava means, he is also compared with another ocean. But Guna Arnavasya, Kalyana Guna. Kalyana means auspicious. So this Guru is full of all auspicious qualities. So in fact, in Bhagavatam, there are lots of these qualities that have been described also. There is a Karunika. Let's see, there's a verse. Titikshavaha Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehinam Ajata Satravaha Santaha Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. So these are some of the qualities. Again, the Guru will have unlimited qualities, because as the Guru purifies his existence, he is non-different from Krishna. So that means whatever the qualities that we attribute to Krishna are there in Guru also. That's why in Bhagavatam sometimes we see Narada Muni was referred to as Bhagavan. Then some people will be confused, like, oh, this is Mayavad Tattva. No, it's not. It's like, in India, when you have a rickshawala is driving the rickshaw, from a distance, you want to call the rickshawala. But what do we say? Hey, rickshaw. We're not calling we're calling the person only. We're calling the, hey, rickshaw. So what are we doing? Because that person, in this case, the Guru, is the servant of Krishna. He is driving, Krishna. So when we call, what's that? No, but this is just for us to understand. It's like, when we see the other way also, the other type of analogy also is given. When President is going in Air Force One, right? How do we know that the President is going? Exactly. We may not see the President personally, but we can tell that the President is going. Right? So we can relate to the fact that, we automatically attribute what we attribute to the Lord Krishna to the pure devotee also. To the point where, in fact, we already saw that the Krishna loves the pure devotee and becomes a servant of pure devotee, just like he became the chariot driver for Arjuna. So like that, there are many innumerable examples in our Shastra. So in this case, a Guru is in all these qualities. What is Titikshavaha? Tolerance. What is the verse where Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita? Bharata. Yeah, what is the beginning of it? Yeah.
You have to tell.
No. It starts with Matra. Agama Paino Anityas Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. So Krishna is saying that in this material world, as long as we are there, we have these senses, and when the senses come in contact with the sense objects, the perception of heat, cold, good, bad, all, auspiciousness, inauspiciousness, all kinds of dualities exist because of sense perception. And a dhira means a person who in proper knowledge is not disturbed by these ups and downs. Titikshava. He is unperturbed, he is undisturbed. So that is what a guru is, right? A guru is operating in this material world not because he is doing temporary plans based on what the stock market looks like today, tomorrow. So he's looking at the 50-day average. What is the eternal average? Eternal average is a stable state.
Somebody is related.
Related to his stock philosophy. By the way, we don't do stocks, but yeah. Oh, Ramesh Prabhu. Okay, so that's the first one, Titikshava, right? I mean, actually, in Prabhupada's example, there are examples quoted here. One of his during the final days, he was basically just bone and literally skin, and that's the state where the nerves were like touching the bone, and it's like just any movement is extremely painful. Anybody who's in the medical field will understand. So there are obviously people who are also serving Prabhupada, and Prabhupada never complained. In fact, there are videos about him being on the deathbed almost, and then he is translating Srimad Bhagavatam. It's unbelievable. Think about it. So that is, his proof that, his consciousness is different from his bodily consciousness, right? Which we all always feel the bodily consciousness. That's why we feel the pain immediately. So in that, that person comes and says like, your guru, like he's speaking to other people, he is under extreme pain, but he is not sharing that pain with any of you because he's not experiencing the bodily pain. So that is, again, a real example. In fact, that's where Prabhupada also, some devotees came and talked to him and then said, Prabhupada, it's very hard to deal with this devotee. It's intolerable. He's intolerable. And Prabhupada told him, like, tolerate him just like I'm tolerating you. Right? So Karanika. So this is the quality of, any guru. I mean, for that matter, a guru is defined as, Karuna Sindhu, right? Even, of course, Krishna is the original source of all Karuna. But if you think about, Prabhupada, so this is again one good example. So why do our gurus, Guru Maharaj, Ravilas Maharaj, or anybody, they create so many opportunities. Like there's farm, there's festivals, there is food truck, there is, what is the goal? Are we making money here? To reach out to many people and the others outside. But it's also an opportunity for people who are connected with this process. It's a sadhana, seva. So you have to see that this is, the more projects we start, the more people that are there. What we are doing is we are actually making Krishna conscious real. Otherwise, just philosophy. What is philosophy if it is not put into practice? So now you have to understand that all these are opportunities. Just in the cows, taking care of seva, there's probably 20, 30 people that are experiencing the joy of serving, and they're serving Krishna directly and indirectly. So Srila Prabhupada once, actually, he was in Delhi. This is before coming here. He was trying to distribute his books, and he finally got a deal. A deal means like he was able to work with a local bookstore, and where he would keep his books. And then whoever buys, then he'll get the money. So he would go every day. This is in Delhi, extreme heat, right? This is in summer. So he would almost go every other day or so, like any books sold. Almost nobody was buying. But then because he was walking to the store, he was obviously tired and needs water. So every time he would go and then say, okay, do you have some water at least? And then those people, initially they used to say, yeah, Swamiji, like you go right and there is a fountain there, you can drink there. Then Prabhupada would come the next day also. or next time whenever he comes, he'll ask the same question. Do you have some water? He knew, but then he would ask the same question. To the point, after a few times, they understood that, you know what, this Swamiji every time will come and ask for the water, so let's collect the water and put it here and then give it. What they didn't know is that they're actually doing seva to a pure devotee. So this is actually Prabhupada's mercy on them. This is Ajnata Sukriti. Them not realizing that they're actually doing a seva to a pure devotee of Krishna. So why did Prabhupada do that? It's the mercy. Karuna. See what a beautiful example in this case. Prabhupada knew, but he was giving that example. That is how we have to think. Like when Guru is asking us something, it may seem like a mundane activity. Like, why can't somebody do it? Or like maybe he himself can do it. No. So that's a mercy. We have to consider that as like, in fact, the more Guru is scolding you, who would we scold? Right? Let's say if somebody comes to our home, they have a child and the child is making some noise. We'll be like, nice. We'll be uncomfortable, but we'll be still like, it's okay, it's small child, let him do it. But if it's our own child making that noise, immediately big class will go on. Huh? Right? So that's how if a Guru... So in the same way, we have to understand that, only through his karuna is actually showing, Guru's karuna comes in different ways because we are disciple. What is the meaning of disciple? To be disciplined. We're ready to be disciplined. That is where the keyword disciple comes, that we are ready to be disciplined. How can we be disciplined if we are not corrected? So when Guru is actually scolding us or giving an instruction to us, and particularly if he's angry with us, we have to be super happy. In fact, I think Navayogendra Swami Maharaj, he was serving Srila Prabhupada. And at one point, Prabhupada got really angry because he was serving very closely, but he made some mistake or something. To the point where Navayogendra Swami was really hurt, and then he's like, Prabhupada, did your Guru Maharaj also scold you anytime like this? Yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada said, yes. One day his Guru Maharaj was giving the lecture, and then Srila Prabhupada, somebody sat next to him and he couldn't understand because he was always high English. His Guru Maharaj would speak really eloquent English, and his writing is also very hard to understand for normal English people. So he was turning around and explaining. So immediately Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is like, do you think you're a scholar or something? Focus on hearing. Like that, he was scolding. And so he's basically said, he's understood that, when you are in front of the Guru, focus 100% to Guru. And everything else becomes secondary. Right? So then what should be our mood, Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada? You should be dancing if I scold you. Yeah, that's a real blessing. So like this, Suhrida Sarva Dehinam, Ajata Shatruvaha, the Guru is also Ajata Shatru. He doesn't have any enemies. Others may feel that he is enemy. In fact, there is also this example where Srila Prabhupada, when he came, his mission was growing and he needed help. And he actually reached out to his god brother, Bhan Maharaj. But he also came earlier, but he failed to spread the mission. To the point where, instead of helping Srila Prabhupada, they started spreading even negative rumors about he's not doing the bona fide way, or his quality standards are maintained. All those kinds of, whatever the way they wanted to plant the doubts, to the point where they wanted to start contaminating the consciousness of his Prabhupada's disciples. So anyway, so that's just for us to understand that. But in this case, Prabhupada was completely open-minded. He wanted to collaborate, and because the mission is what is more important, rather than the individual here. Shanta, peaceful. We already heard about like when the Guru is not always soft with us, that doesn't mean like he's not peaceful. It's the correction for us. Sādhavaha means like always Shastra based. Okay, Guru is not giving his own opinions. Even in Bhagavad Gita, it is austerity of speech. He is speaking from Shastra. Otherwise, we better speak nothing or keep quiet. So that is one of the expectations according to Krishna. So to such Guru, this is the end of the first verse, where we've understood that Guru is the only source to get out of this material world or this Maya. And that Guru is full of all auspicious qualities. And to such a Guru, every morning we wake up with this consciousness, we are offering our prayers, obeisance. Charana Aradvindam, the lotus feet of such a Guru. So now, let's think again, just to make it more practical. Like, forest fire doesn't mean some illusory concept. We can start thinking about what's going on in our head, practically, all the emotions, anxiety, envy, lust, all the, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsaryams. So what is Guru doing in this case is not just like the Mayavadi philosophy of just like trying to erase and, sweep that. He's actually filling our heart with so much of love that all these don't have space to enter. So when we are doing this, because that is the devotee's path. The devotee path versus the Mayavad path. Mayavad path is like putting efforts to take like, this broom, okay, and then the next day again, some dust comes and so on. What a pure devotee's path is, just fill our consciousness, our heart with so much of Krishna Prema and love for other Vaishnavas. What are the three things? Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, Jivadaya. All filled with, intense love for Krishna. So we fill in our heart and we do those activities so that our heart is filled and there's no opportunity for Maya to enter in any of these six forms. How do we apply this? Meditate on this. First thing, what fire am I feeding today? Is it anger, frustration, or distraction? Like when we are chanting, I make this mistake all the time too. We are working and so on, the phone comes right next to you along with it. And then boom, something comes and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then after some time, Hare Krishna goes side and then phone becomes primary. So one of the things that is suggested is, we should meditate on this. At least let's put this in our consciousness and a thought that when we start our chanting, let's think that the first four malas we're doing for our Guru, and he's right here. With this understanding that because of him, I'm able to even get to this path. And because of his mercy only, I will be able to come out of this cycle. So if he is here, in front of us right here, how attentively we would chant. Because right now, we think there's nobody. For that matter, Paramatma is in our heart too. We forget that. And then everything else becomes primary for us. So if we just put this thought in our head and try to apply practically, that whenever we're chanting, whether this mantra or even our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, just even though our Guru may be in the next door or in another city or, or even not even in this earthly planet, but he's always there through his Vani. So just keep that in our consciousness. So this is actually in Srila Prabhupada said the same analogy in 1973. I saw the world burning. He came to New York. He saw pretty much everybody is engulfed in this material activity and, again, see the contrast from Vrindavan to Bauri. It's like the extremes of the consciousness. And he had to come here and he could see that the whole world was burning. And Krishna gave me the hose. What is the hose? The holy name. So imagine. I mean, another thought is he was the only Vaishnava, frankly, in the entire United States when he came. But one Vaishnava was able to create a movement that is transforming the whole world. So if we commit ourselves to this seva, we can actually do that. Because every one of us have the same potency, but it's just our desire to be there. Any questions, comments on this so far? So the next one.
Before you start second one,
Hmm.
can you go back to the word for word meaning?
Yeah.
Now we all heard a lot about this verse, right? Now, can somebody volunteer to put this in an English sentence so that we'll understand, whether we are really hearing and understanding?
So it's almost like the translation,
Yeah.
right? You're asking, like, what do you remember from the translation?
We're not going to show the previous screen now. This is the real text. So we have to listen to it and understand
That's true. That's
in person or online. Anyway.
yeah. Yeah, it does.
Mostly use these words, but you can add one or two words.
Yeah, one line is probably you'll take shortcuts.
Yeah.
Let's take four lines.
So all these words, the Sanskrit, the English words. So this is called in Sanskrit, it's called Anvaya. So first you write all the word for word meaning, Sanskrit meaning, word for word meaning, and then make a sentence out of it. And there is a purpose why they do that. So that we have understood it.
Who's taking the
Okay,
shot at
we need
it?
some volunteer.
Okay, Mataji is taking.
Yes.
See, and he has all the auspicious qualities similar to an ocean. And I offer up symptoms to the spiritual master with your sleep.
Revolve.
Very good.
Good.
He always answers the toughest questions in my class.
Revolve. Yadha Guru Tada. Okay, so should we continue? Or like, do you want to? Okay. So the next verse. So previous verse describes the tattva of Guru, which is liberation from Maya. But now we're trying to understand another dimension of Guru. All these are nothing but attributes of, or the qualities of Guru, this whole Gurvastakam. So in this one, it's like establishing the Guru in the parampara. So what is that Guru supposed to do? Mahaprabhu ki tananitya gita vaditramadyan manasurasena romanchakam pa shrutaranga bhajo vande guru sri charanaravindam. So the translation, he's chanting the holy name, dancing in ecstasy, singing and playing musical instruments. And the spiritual master is always gladdened by the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is very important because this is the Vaishnava, particularly Gaudiya Vaishnava prayers, right? Other philosophies might give some other definition of what a guru is. But it is important that we're in the lineage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that we're bona fide. So if you don't see a guru doing the Sankirtana and glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then maybe run away from such a guru. That's not a bona fide guru. So this is about understanding that we are connected to the lineage, we're connected to the original path that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has established. So a guru, I mean, we can see this. Harivilas Maharaj has established just now like a weekly Harinam ecstasy series. If you are not part of it, please come every day, daily on weekdays, every day from 8 to 9. And it is, I'm telling you, I'm also experiencing it. It's beautiful. You end the day, you start the day with Mangalarati and Srimad Bhagavatam, end the day in the evening at 7 o'clock with Bhagavad Gita, and then end with Kirtan. I'm telling you, you don't need to go to YMCA, you don't need to go to any other clubs. It saves you a ton of money. It purifies your body, mind, consciousness, everything. So a guru is supposed to be fully immersed in the Kirtana. And our whole movement is Sankirtana movement. Again, how is this bona fide? It's fully bona fide. What did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita first? He said, Manmanabhav Madbhakto. He said, in fact, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmaridyacha. So he gave multiple instructions to Arjuna saying that always think of me while you're doing your duty. So he asked us to remember. And then in Bhagavatam, if you go, and Bhagavatam gives the entire philosophy in 18,000 plus verses. And then finally it ends with saying that in Kali Yuga, the only path for liberation is Sankirtana Yajna. Kirtana means again chanting the holy name of the Lord, remembering Him. But then how do we do it? That's when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then he actually made it practical for us. And he made it so simple. There is only one mantra we have to remember, holy name, Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then join with fellow similar, same like-minded devotees, and then publicly chant, because that's what we do. And that's why, Harivilas Maharaj, every time somebody comes to Harivilas Maharaj, you need some blessings. Your blessing is here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He doesn't do this Ashirvad business. He says. There is no Ashirvad business. The only Ashirvad is you accepting that instruction from him, and then you start chanting. Right? So we Kirtan Nitya, dancing. In fact, Prabhupada says that dancing is also scientific. I mean, why? Because, when you are immersed, in fact, this talks about, Romancha Kampa Shrutaranga Bhajo. So there's also Ashta Sattvika Bhavas. Like a person like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited all these qualities. That is, once you are in full immersive Krishna Prema, you're not in this Bhautika Prapancham, this material world. Your consciousness is not here. You are fully in the pastimes of the Lord. So you have transported your consciousness completely into a different realm, only of course mercy of the Lord. But you're not attached to the current physical, like where you are. So as a result, as the soul and its consciousness transports to the spiritual realm, the body starts experiencing certain characteristics. First, this is not in a sequence, but one of the qualities is somebody becomes stamba, means like there is no physical sensation or physical movement anymore, because the mind is already involved in a different dimension. Consciousness is completely at a different dimension. So it becomes a stamba. Then the next thing is sweda. That is perspiration. The body starts perspiring in a significant way. Then romancha. Roma means like this goosebumps and the hair standing on the body, right? In fact, this romancha is something that even Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya describes after hearing this whole, Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya describes saying that, what does he say? Roma Harshanam. Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmana Samvadam Yamam Ashrausham Adbhutam Roma Harshanam. So even as he was hearing this whole Samvadam, he was also saying that. And then even Chaitanya Sikshashtakam, Nayanam Galad Asrudharaya, Vadanam Gadgada Rudrayagira, Pulakai Nichitam Vapukada, Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyat. So, for a pure devotee, just the name is not different from Krishna. So, when he chants the name, he's experiencing all these qualities. Nayanam Galad Ashrudharaya. Like continuous. Like in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the pictures where like water would shoot from his,
Like a syringe.
like a syringe. For us, maximum one droplet will come, not even cross the cheek. Even if you act. But for Mahaprabhu, it was naturally flowing. Good question. There are two types of tears. Cold tears and hot tears. Cold tears is when you are in an ecstatic zone, but in the happiness. Hot tears is when you are in anxiety, when you are like, you don't have a path out. You're also crying then also. But those are hot tears. In Bhagavatam, it is also described. So we're talking about the cold tears. So these are tears, Ananda Bhashpa. But this is an Ananda that is not even like material Ananda. This is spiritual Ananda. So yes, that's why we're hearing this. See, you had a question, and then today in the class, Krishna again sent this message. So we talked about Stamba. We talked about Sveda, means like perspiration. Then Romancha, the hair standing on it. Then Swarabhanga, obviously, Kalada Shrudaraya. That is, what is it? Vadanam Gadgada Rudraya. Means like, you're not able to say the words because you are in such an ecstatic state. So no words fully come out. So that's the next one. Then, yeah, choking, not able to say a word, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's either choking or not being able to speak. Yeah, all those.
So much ecstatic.
Correct. Feelings. Exactly. They overwhelm your speech. Then Vepattu means trembling. There is a shivering. The body shakes due to intense spiritual ecstasy. Then there is also Vaivarnya, means like change of complexion. Pale. We become pale. You lose the regular color. Then you also have Ashru, we talked about, and then finally fainting. In fact, this happened to Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
You might have heard that one. So for some of you knew, like he was actually in an ecstatic kirtan, and then suddenly he fainted. And he fainted and he stayed like that for days. Now, all his disciples, they were all clueless, like, they got the doctor, they got everybody, like, and they did all kinds of tests. His pulse rate is perfect. His heartbeat is perfect. He's at a rest state, but he's not waking up. Like the days passed by, they were not able to figure out. And then finally, Srila Prabhupada's god brother, who's in the Gaudiya Parampara, his name is Akinchana Krishnadas Maharaj. So he comes. Then he explains to these people, don't disturb him. He is in a spiritual realm, participating in the pastimes. So that's why the body, physically, the heartbeat, everything are going on. But his consciousness is fully transported into the spiritual realm. So that is what we should think about. So that is what Mahaprabhu, obviously, in his own pastimes, he expresses this. Once he goes into the ocean, and then he thinks that is Yamuna, and then he jumps into it, and then he completely, its body becomes even different shapes and whatnot. But he's completely in the Krishna area, in his transported spiritual world. Mhm. So again, Mahaprabhu, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kirtana, that is chanting or and glorifying, Nritya, dancing, Gita. I mean, this is why also you see that almost all devotees and particularly gurus, they're good at dancing, good at singing, good at instruments, good at. So it's, I mean, for the devotee, it's the, what is the Krishna consciousness? There is a culture behind Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu has defined that culture. So we are also have to, first of all, coming from South India for me, first time when I came to ISKCON, it was like a complete shock of culture. We go to the temple, what do? We basically one archana. I mean, it's a very formal way of doing things. Shantarasa, just Ardha Rasa, saying that, okay, Lord, you are supreme and we are this, and, maximum you just do that. And then you break a coconut, you sit there and eat little prasadam and then come. That's all. Now you come here, people are dancing, people are like, ecstatically doing different instruments and everything. It's all looks completely, for the first time, it may look like, okay, it's a little too much here. Frankly, that was my first reaction too. Yeah. But that's our culture. And this culture is bona fide based on what an ecstatic life, that is in Krishna, once you're involved in this, experience of prema, Krishna prema, you will experience that. So dancing is also scientific because it is a part of your expressing naturally. You're not worried about what the next person is thinking because your focus is completely on Krishna and the holy name. So it transports your consciousness from material realm into the spiritual realm. And then obviously instruments, learning the instruments is also part of that. You have to develop the desire. And by the way, that there are some instruments we're buying, and Maharaj bought yesterday event. Today also we will be going. His goal is to involve everybody. Like that's why we have a lot of shakers and all kinds of instruments. He wants everybody to be involved. So you can see the Guru Tattva, and we can see it's practically how a living Guru right in the middle of us, how he's actually, his consciousness is. He's like, just always thinking about like, we already bought a number of instruments. I was thinking like, that's probably sufficient. Today Maharaj said, we have to go, we have to buy more. Yes. No, just pure Kirtan. I'm telling you, there's no, it's just you come, you even listen. I mean, there is a big difference between listening online versus when you're there. Yeah, Maharaj is leading Kirtan. Yeah. So I would highly, highly recommend. I mean,
it's complete rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Just even half an hour if you come, it's a complete rejuvenation.
Yeah. It's immersive. We say like 7 o'clock is philosophy, 8 o'clock is practice. Weekends anyway, he does, some kirtan, everything. That's a standard program. But these are, 8 o'clock every night. Is that weekdays, weeknights. So let's look at how to think about it. And we already talked about it. So when Guru is actually, this is actually, Prabhupada actually once, he was in a room and Sudama is one of his helpers. He went into the room and then to give some rasgulla, something like that. And then Prabhupada was crying. He was like afraid, like, he didn't know what to do. So he comes down. There's another Mataji, Govindasi, who was cooking. So like, Mataji, Prabhupada is crying, like, I don't know what to do. Like, she said, like, okay, just go put that stuff and then back. And then he went again to put that, and then Prabhupada is crying. And then he was like, he couldn't, he had to do something, and he's like, he couldn't leave him also in that state. He felt like, see, this is why we think, right? When he's crying, this is a practical thing that happened apparently when Chaitanya Sundara Maharaj, obviously he is in a debilitating situation from physical dimension, right? He is on a wheelchair and everything. But in spite of that, he does worship, everything. And then as he was doing this arti, he was like, tears were flowing apparently. And some new disciple, at the back, she was with other people, and maybe Gurudev is thinking that, what a bad condition he's. See, that is our consciousness. We are relating to, why would somebody cry in front of God? God, I am in so much misery, please get me out. But for a pure devotee, their consciousness is there, immersed in, completely based on what we can understand from Shastra, immersed in the Krishna's Leela. So those experiences that they are exhibiting, they are not material. So don't attribute what we see when some guru is suddenly exhibiting certain of these symptoms. Don't attribute our image of what might be happening to them. So they are experiencing a different ecstasy and joy. So again, we can do this during our next kirtan. Close our eyes, picture as if the guru, if it's Srila Prabhupada or your own guru, whoever in the Guru Tattva, as long as their bona fide Guru Parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, leading you, and his voice quivering, his heart filled with joy, and let go of inhibition and don't think about people around. That's what stops us from experiencing the full joy. Again, this is the Bhavagrahi Janardana. So nobody is judging you based on your tune. Well, obviously, you don't want to be, if your tune is not perfect, don't sing so loudly that you disturb others. That is the Karuna. Karuna Bhava. Bring that Karuna and then contain your enthusiasm a little bit. but show compassion, on others. But to the extent you can experience it, don't create any boundaries in your experience. So chant like a child crying for its mother. So if you keep that in our consciousness when we do the next kirtan, I think we'll experience a different dimension. In fact, Narottama Das Thakur's kirtan, apparently everybody in the whole village started having tears. It's as if he sang as if Krishna stood before him. So again, can we chant with such longing so that Krishna will give a side glance at us? So this is again the mood. The idea of this is like not only we're understanding the philosophy, understanding of the words, but we're also understanding the bhava.
So when devotees chant loudly, singing, dancing, when I shared in the class also, in bottle class, right? I don't know if you were there at that time. So there were many examples where, in places where there was a drought for a couple of years, it actually rained. And in the specific, there is a specific place in Andhra Pradesh, it only rained on the temple building. So there was a drought for a couple of years, and devotees did 24-hour Sankirtan, dancing and chanting. And it only rained on the temple building. There's a big media coverage and everything. I can imagine how powerful this chanting and dancing is.
Okay.
Test.
Oh yeah, test.
Go
Let's go to the test. Okay, let's give another person a chance.
Online?
Maybe online.
You're just joining for the sake of attendance. I hope not. So can somebody volunteer online and make a sentence using these words?
I see Srinivas Kasan Prabhu online.
There's no one in your contacts named Srinivas Kasan Prabhu. His contact I'm looking for. App name series. You can search for it in the apps.
What? Okay. Hopefully it stopped. Anyone wants to give it a shot?
Andarani Mataji?
Is she there?
Prabhuji, when Chaitanya Sundara Prabhu, if anyone other than Chaitanya Sundara Prabhu is speaking, we cannot hear clearly.
Oh,
So,
is it? Okay, maybe they're a little distant. So we're asking, I think the Mataji, your name has been nominated to take all these words. I mean, you know this meaning, but don't repeat the same exact original translation, but come up with your own anvayam of these words and then give the translation to the verse. You have been nominated. Mataji, you're there still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, let's try. So just using the meaning, right? Not the Sanskrit words.
Yeah. Using the English words. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my obeisances through my spiritual master, who is always chanting, dancing, singing, and playing musical instrument, whose mind is gladdened by the mellows of pure devotion, and who feels the ecstatic symptoms of the quivering of the body and torrents of rain. So my spin on this is more on the symptoms that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed than from the spiritual master.
Very well. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, is the meaning of this shloka that I offer obeisances to my spiritual master, who is remembering Mahaprabhu?
That is the bhava. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is Guru.
Yeah.
Guru Ashtakam. But again, the way to understand is if you already have a Guru, then you should be obviously paying the same respects.
Yeah, that's
to
like
that.
how the spiritual master is
Yes.
thinking about Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
We should think about
Our Guru. Yes.
Who is feeling ecstasy by chanting and singing.
Yeah, you will actually understand in the 7th verse particularly, this is that simultaneous oneness and difference. Means this is a debate that keeps going on. But it's because we don't understand that, at the same time, you could be thinking about your own Guru. You could be thinking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Both are correct. Both are bona fide. Because it's, we're all concentric circles. Everything is focused on Krishna only in the end. As long as there is no final goal that is deviated, then, all understandings are actually bona fide in that way. But in this case, particularly, we're worshipping the Guru who is following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and then taking that plunge into this Sankirtana and a movement using all these instruments and singing and chanting and dancing, and as a result they're experiencing these ecstatic symptoms. Now, is it possible that we may not have seen our Guru experiencing it physically? But remember, they are actually equivalent to, if they are already a bona fide spiritual master, they are already experiencing these symptoms. So we should not be thinking that we are judging, saying that, I have not seen that being expressed. Many gurus don't express this publicly. And some might have, without their intention, may have experienced, like in case of Gaur and Swami Maharaj. But that doesn't mean all gurus are supposed to be the same Guru Tattva. So we'll move on to the next verse. Sri Vigraharadhana Nitya Nana Srungaratan Mandiramarjanadau Uktasya Bhaktam Chaniyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. So the translation is the spiritual master. So now we're moving on to the next dimension. You can sit on the top. So we're understanding another dimension of Guru. So now the Guru is also fully engaged in the devotional service, in this case, Vigraha Radhana. So the spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. So they dress the deities. So what is Guru doing? The Guru is training the disciples in this case to ensure that they dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, Maha cleanup, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. So first of all, Vigraha Radhana. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhava mattah sarvam pravartate. He says also, in another words, mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. So he's already established that he is the Supreme Lord. And Arjuna also agreed that the Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. He said, like, you are the Supreme Lord. But that Krishna is not here. So how do we develop the same level of worship? So that's why, because of the mercy of the Lord, he comes in the form of Archa Vigraha. Now, there is a bona fide process according to Shastra, so that Lord, out of his mercy, he comes and resides in the Archa Vigraha. At that time, he is non-different from Krishna. So, because what is the mood of the Guru? He is always the servant of the Lord. That's what he is trying to preach to everybody in the world, that our identity, our spiritual identity is a servant of Lord Krishna. So, how do we, actually put it into practice? Because he is Vibhu, we are Anu. He is infinite, we are like finite. So unless he becomes merciful to serve him by coming in the form of Archa Vigraha, we won't be able to serve him. So that's why, in this case, the Vigraha Radhana is something that is a very significant and a very important limb of our sadhana. That's what the Guru in this case, Nitya. Sri Vigraha Radhana Nitya. So the spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. Locally, Harivilas Maharaj started, 2 temples. And yesterday only we launched another center, Bhakti Hub in Seattle. Thanks to Amodavardhan Prabhu, Damodar Hari Prabhu, and lots of devotees, but they're taking the lead in spreading this Krishna consciousness movement in Seattle. It was beautiful to see. It's the beginning of a whole new effort in another place. Just like Bellevue Temple, Maharaj's, desire was to start that almost 12 years ago. It took 12 years of persistence. Because, see, we have to understand that for a devotee, obviously for a guru, whatever activities they choose, they're eternal activities. The temporary time delay that we see in the material realm is no bearing on them. Because it is an eternal activity, I might as well do that seva. It takes 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter. In fact, for that matter, when Harivilas Maharaj, he came here, he says that it took almost 14 years to make the first devotee. Can you imagine? Like 14 years, almost single-handedly, with maybe just a little help from other people, having that conviction that this path of devotion will eventually, spread, this Krishna consciousness. That conviction has to be there. Yesterday, Maharaj was telling, like after coming from the program, he was remembering about his Sweet Lord, My Sweet Lord programs, So after he retired from active business, so he would do the temple seva here in Samamish and then go there and he would prepare prasadam at the Sweet Lord, My Sweet Lord, and it's free prasad. Can you imagine, like every day going there, doing that and serving people? It has to be, a different consciousness, right? Like, most of us, it's a big jump from where we are in our thinking to selfless service that Guru is doing. Same thing. Of course, we can think about Srila Prabhupada. At the age of 69, how would there is no person that he knew in US to come and then say, okay, send me a ticket and I'm just going to fly overnight. Nowadays, we don't want even extra layover. When we book a flight, oh, this one is non-stop. This one has 3 hours layover. That one has 9 hours layover. No, that ruled out. So for somebody to come in a cargo ship, there is no doctor, there is nobody. And he had faced 2 heart attacks to actually take all that to come and to, spread this mercy on the people all over the world. So this is the mood of a guru. He's always worshipping the Lord. And he's also training. There are numerous pastimes of Srila Prabhupada training to train his disciples. Can you imagine? These are all Western bodies. They have never been to Indian culture. I mean, we all knew a little bit of, if you go to a temple, now if you are teaching Krishna consciousness, basically, okay, if we're going to do a havan, there's some basic understanding, what to do, what to bring. Maybe instead of earlier worshipping to some other Baba, you're now worshipping to Krishna. But at least we know the process. Culturally, we were trained. But these are the people in the Western bodies that were not at all trained. So Prabhupada was doing Prana Pratishtha in one of the places. And then he was expecting all these people to have brought flowers and fruits and everything. So Pushpa, where are the Pushpas? Flowers. And then they bring some Pushpan or something. Because their understanding was different. And then Prabhupada then says, okay, then can you bring some fruits? We're invoking the Lord, right? Fruits. Prabhupada, we already got them, but we cut them, chop them, and then put it into salad. So he had to train them from scratch. In fact, in one of the initiations, he told them, look, okay, there's a havan. He told them, okay, throw banana. His expectation is that put that banana into the havan. They throw the banana on him. So Prabhupada was getting agitated, and then one new devotee comes and says, Prabhupada, chant and be happy. Prabhupada didn't get mad, saying that, hey, I'm the founder, I'm the one who told you. He said, yes, you're right. And then he chanted. He chanted. So this is the mood of a guru. It may seem like again, this is where the 2 dimensions, we have to look at the material dimension, but then we can only relate to the material dimension. We have to see that they are in a completely different dimension of their consciousness. So the meanings. So there is a hand raised. Yes, Prabhuji. Prasadam?
Hare
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Can I talk, Prabhu? Is that fine?
Yes. Go ahead. Add any context or correct me.
Oh, no, correct. Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It's very wonderful. It's going, and you are adding humor in between, also wonderful. And you mentioned, Prabhuji, yesterday I was hearing one lecture, Prabhupada lecture. Prabhupada, in one of the context about deity Acha Vigraha, people generally will ask us, okay, if the God is there, why don't you show the God to me? That's what the people ask the question. So Prabhupada's reply was, our senses are imperfect. We cannot see the Lord. So that's why the Lord came in the form of Archa Vigraha so that we can see. So out of mercy, he came in that form so that we can see. That was the Prabhupada answer. So when you were talking about that, I was correlating yesterday's lecture. So Lord is so merciful that he came in Archa Vigraha form. So he gave so many opportunities for us to serve. That's one wonderful program. One more thing you mentioned about Harivilas Maharaj, right? That's really great. So Maharaj waited for 14 years to make one devotee, and he waited for 12 years to build the Bellevue temple. So what we can see from such a great souls, we can, in the previous slides also you were saying, if you want to develop the qualities, we need to associate with the pure devotees who are having those qualities and exhibiting those qualities in day-to-day life, right? So
Exactly.
from these incidents, what I can think of is, see, Maharaj has so much of dedication and patience to wait for so many years. And this is one such a great example when a pure soul who has the desire to do selfless service to his guru, what is the final outcome? See, even though they might have undergone so many difficulties, but we can see just such a deep faith that they had towards the Guru and Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, that okay, we have to do selfless service depending on the lotus feet of the Guru, and the result the Krishna and Guru will take care. So that's what we are seeing right now, the beautiful temple, Bellevue temple and everything, all services, right? And you said one more thing, preaching at the Seattle Center. So at this age, Harilas Maharaj can relax, right? So why Maharaj is thinking that even now, Maharaj every minute he is thinking how to spread Krishna consciousness, how to give to others. So that shows that at any point of time in a life, so we should not relax. So we should always aspire and give Krishna consciousness. Unless and until Maharaj connected so deeply, this will not come out. So because Maharaj is connected so deeply, even after 50 years of his life in Krishna consciousness, that's why those wonderful things are coming, and we are witnessing those, and we are so fortunate for that. And we were so fortunate that Maharaj is giving this opportunity to do many services. That's what I felt, Prabhu, when you're talking about that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing it. You want to add something?
Since you talked about Archa Vigraha, show us your Archa Vigraha Rupa. Haribol. Give us your person. Haribol. Turn on your video. Oh, we can't see you.
He might be in a transcendental ecstasy zone right now. So his physical form he's not comfortable sharing.
All Prabhu may be making jalebis.
That's true.
Next time, Mataji.
Anybody else also wants to share their realization, or obviously senior Vaishnavas, if you some other anecdotes or things. I think Mataji or Prabhu, particularly anything that you can share about your experiences going through jumpstarting the Seattle Center, because I think that would be inspiring for people also.
Prabhuji, I think when originally we had reached out to Maharaj saying that this is something that we want to try and do, Maharaj's only one line instruction to us was, I hope and pray that you can persevere. And
I was there actually. I was there in that conversation. So that was his instruction. Yes, go ahead, Mata.
yes, Prabhu. So, and I think that instruction was so deep. I think Maharaj knew at that time what he means and what it means. So, that is the instruction that we have taken to heart. There are definitely days when it's up, there are definitely days when it's not perfect. Things don't go our way or how we have planned. But that is one instruction that we have always keep close to our heart. And seeing Maharaj these days, when you were reciting the second verse of Gurvastakam, I could picture one and only one person in that, and that was Maharaj. Like the way he does his kirtans these days. Earlier, it used to be like harmonium and this thing. These days, he doesn't care about any instruments himself. It is just him and his singing, and his eyes are closed. And like you said, it's very, very true that you have to be in person to relish these types of kirtans that Maharaj is doing. And we are very, very fortunate to be able to experience this. Obviously, Maharaj probably has many more emotions, and which he's not, I mean, we have seen him cry many times also during these kirtans, but he's probably experiencing way more than what he's expressing. So it's very, very, it's our very good fortune to be in his presence and be able to participate, or even like maybe play one small something for him out of tune, but he is very merciful. So it's a very big privilege, Prabhuji. And thank you. I was thinking like you are the perfect person to speak on this prayer. So Krishna's arrangement is so perfect.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. And we're blessed to have Namrata Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji has just joined. We need to hear from
So
him.
I think, for us, every time we see his, dropped off. Oh, maybe because we mentioned he didn't want to be. By the way, I think I definitely want to take this opportunity to share because we're seeing him much more closely as he serves Maharaj.
Sorry, I want to add
Wait,
one
like-
point. Oh, sorry, sir, I want to add. So
Yes.
whatever Mataji said, Nandarani Mataji said, wonderful point. So you are the best fit to give this lecture because not only theoretically, practically you can share so many things. Hari Bol, wonderful.
No, Prabhuji, I think we're just an instrument. It should never get into our head because Krishna can choose anybody.
Yeah, yes.
And, we're just, I think we're just, somehow this miracle is happening. So please continue to bless that we somehow continue to do this seva without any mistakes
Yes.
or without any,
Yes.
drop in our consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji.
That is the foremost quality is the humility which you have already. That is the best qualification. Wonderful. Hari Bol. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And by the way, it's not like one person. I just want to clarify. We have, again, just like Krishna arranges, right? Like the war was happening, Arjuna had to do his part. Everybody else is doing their part. So, Maharaj happened to stay in our place, but then without the help of all the Vaishnavas who are actually coming and doing the actual seva, and Tarak Prabhu, always comes like he's thinking ahead. That's where I wanted to share, is that he's like 10 steps ahead of what Maharaj's needs are and so on. There's so many other pastimes. Hopefully, we'll continue in the next session, and then we can get into the more details of this. But, when we fill our consciousness with this bhava of what is really Krishna Prema, it actually is a beautiful thing. And we can see, whatever the Shastra is also telling, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini, that equality, because whatever seemingly different is no longer important. Physical dimension is less relevant anymore. So we will experience a type of joy. And that's what, when a Guru Maharaj is meeting people, he's like constantly, he's like, just chant, be happy, and he was excited. Like, today also, by the way, he is coming to the mantra house. He wants to share, there's going to be a program there. So, but yes, it's not possible without Tarak Prabhu taking a significant lead on, doing a lot of things. And then obviously all the other Vaishnavas coming and helping. So it's a pastime. We're all going through this. So, Hari Bol. So let's do that. So the Anvayam, word for word. Okay. So yeah, we didn't go through it. Let me just maybe read through it. So the Vigraha means, in this case, Archa Vigraha, the deity. Again, Maharaj keeps making sure that we don't call it idol. There's a big difference between an idol and deity. Idol is that doesn't have life, like Gandhi's idol. It's a bust that you keep, and crows come and do their festivities. But that's idol. A deity has to be properly, obviously protected, but also worshipped. Shastra gives proper bona fide processes, so one has to do it. Of course, you are doing at home, there is a little, different type of standards, but if you're doing at the temple, in fact, when Jananivas Prabhuji came, so we were doing it different times in the morning, and then we were asking him, is that okay, Maharaj? Because, Prabhuji, that it was not something that we can stick to all the time. He said, so that is the mercy of Archa Vigraha at the temple, at the home. The Lord follows your standard or your schedule. But in the temple, it's a standard that has been set, by whatever the Shastras or the Parampara. And then that is a standard that one must follow to the point. So this whole process of Archa Vigraha is also purification for our own consciousness. So the Lord doesn't need any help, but he comes in this little Vigraha form so that we can bathe him, we can dress him, we can show all the love, just like we would show to a child. But it's the, eventually when Krishna comes, how will we treat him, right? We have to know, we have to practice. So that's what is happening. This is the sadhana bhakti, we're practicing. So Sri Vigraha, Aradhana, worship, actually there are different paramparas, the Shodasa, Upacharas, the 16 ways, you offer dhupa, deepa, naivedya, and then, chamara, and then you also do offer a dance, you offer a song, you offer, prasada, everything, right? So there are different ways to Aradhana. In our parampara, there is a particular bona fide way. If you go to Sri Vaishnavas in Balaji temple, they do it, slightly differently. But Aradhana is, again, you follow the bona fide parampara. Nitya, daily. Nana is Nana Shungara. That is where all the ornaments and paraphernalia of the Lord that we use to worship. Tat Mandira Marjanad. Again, every year we do this, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his pastime also, Gundicha temple cleanup. So again, when we're doing, this is a famous pastime, almost everybody here can relate to. Harivilas Maharaj, every time he would come to the temple, there's some paper left there, or he goes to the shoe rack and then he sees all kinds of shoes all over the place, even though clear instructions were given that shoes must be on the shoe rack. Nobody follows. In fact, the first thing the shoe goes is on that on that instruction only to cover it up. So he would go and pick up all the shoes and put it. So these are all not, if you go to other Hindu temples, you would see probably a big room for a president, or like, the head of the temple, there is a big room. But here, there is no room like that. There is no office room here. So that's very, completely representative of the mood in which these Guru Maharaj or Guru and Maharaj are serving. So it's not a material dimension of opulence. So they're the sevaks. So again, Marjanado, so temple cleaning, that's why we do once a year at least Maha cleanup. Again, the same thing, concept of cleanup is something that's also at the bodily level, because Paramatma is in our heart. So we have to, cleanliness is next to godliness, because how do we keep our consciousness clean? Is to keep ourselves clean, our mind clean, body, mind, and our speech clean. That's how we purify our consciousness. And so this is how our parampara, at least, we train everybody on these things. So also, we should expand this on this cleanliness concept, because anything that is Lord's property, which everything is, should be kept clean. Our car, anything that we are using to serve the Lord, it should be kept clean. So Vande Guru Sri Charana Aravindam. So let's see. And maybe we'll finish this takeaways and then we'll come back to this. Think about it. So takeaways. Yeah, I think so. We have to end it now, probably. Next week, yeah. Yeah. I thought we'll do all 8 in one session. Now this will be. Yeah. Yeah. So we have to, again, just to summarize these points, I put this slide just mainly to make sure that we've talked so much, come back to just an essence that we can remember. Guru doesn't just serve the deities. This is again big. What is deity? It means actually there is a living personality. Krishna, when we go to the temple, don't look at like, I like this vigraha because it is made with stone. This is made with some other thing. Or this vigraha has little plumpy cheeks and this one doesn't have. That is all material dimension of. Yeah, in your heart, there may be an inspiration to some, deity or the other. But we should not be thinking material dimension. The actual Lord is sitting there. So we should be thinking about, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has just come and is standing in front of us. So in fact, also when we go to the temple, this is also commonly described. It's not like we are going there to see the Lord. We are going there so that we're qualified enough so that the Lord sees us. So for that, we have to be qualified, purified. So we should chant, and in fact, the idea is that you go there and then you should be able to say, just like in Upanishad, in the 15th mantra and 16th mantra, 17th mantra, particularly towards the end, there is a particular prayer that says, Lord, I have done this, I have done that. So you should be able to go to the Lord and then say, remember me for all the things that I have done for you, right? As I'm about to die. So this is the prayer. You can look up the next words, exact words. No? Yeah. So even though, in our pure bhakti, we don't even say that, but the intention there is that we have to do something for the Lord. Otherwise, how will we express love? Right? Yeah.
So we are praying now to remember all the services. Open the curtain of this material world, Maya, and give this that.
Yes.
Okay. You're just basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please consider the things that I've done to you.
Yeah, obviously, Lord actually knows He's in your heart, right? There is a different bhavas, right? The pure bhava is that you don't even need to say, but you need to do, right? Don't think that anyway, I'm not going to say it, I might as well not do it.
Not giving his darshan, listed all the things that he has done. He's saying, why are you not giving darshan to me? Give darshan to Hanuman, everybody else. I've done so much.
Yeah. So again, all the acts in this case are that of like a mother dressing the child. Right? When we have the vigrahas at home also.
Sorry, I think I interrupted you. You said 15, 16, 17, and you only spoke about the 15 course.
No, basically, first he says, oh Lord, your effulgence is covering me, in this existence. So first, I pray to you so that Hiranmayena Patrena. So basically, like this kind of covering effulgent golden rays. So take them out and then show your beautiful face to me. And then the next is once the Lord shows up, then you pray that saying that, okay, please remember me. I think it's something like Kritam, something like that. Verse comes. Forget the exact words. So, but again, the idea is even at the time of death, when Krishna says in 8th chapter, in Antakaleja Mam Eva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. That is, at the time of death, only remember me, and then you will reach me for sure. Right? That is the guarantee he's giving. Now, people might say, that's all. Okay, I got the secret. So I just have to remember at the end. But we cannot remember at the end Krishna. For that matter, the practical example I'm telling you, some of our own relatives, parents also back home. When I was trying to take Diksha and all, there is time for it. Now they're already in 70s, but they still don't think that their time has come. So I think it's the mercy when it comes, take it. And then do so that you're prepared. It's not about what you desire, it's what you deserve also. So for that, you have to put, what you have done for the Lord. So this is all ways to cleanse our heart and show our love to the Lord. Yeah. Yeah, and that's where the deserve comes.
This for example, earlier this year I had tea and coffee, and someone very initial name. Lincoln?
Hmm.
He said,
Saligram Prabhu.
Yes. He said, I asked him why you went in this, and he was like, these are saying also should be nice. But we also eat chocolate. On the day of your death, you will be like, oh, yeah, Chinese beer. That will be the moment, and then we'll like, come back at a tea bag or something like that.
Not a scumbag.
Prabhuji, we didn't hear the question or what was being said.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's very distant.
I think he was sharing a kind of little pastime between two devotees about, what's the reason for not drinking tea right now. Is that what?
No,
You want
question to Prabhuji's question was about.
You want to come closer, Prabhuji?
The point was
here. This is the one that's picking up.
The point was when he said that we remember Lord, and we only remember if Krishna allows us to remember. But the practice comes into play of chanting, of being with devotees, being in devotee association. If you are continuously practicing that life, at the end moment, I don't think you're going to be thinking about who won the World Cup.
So how many times in the last, like for example, I'll ask some of the devotees that have been chanting Hare Krishna. So the moment you see a first person, what is the first word that comes to you? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, correct.
Right there, right?
Correct.
Practice.
So that's what I wanted to say. The practice comes into that moment, it will be the practice that will pay off.
Yeah. But again, in the end, Krishna, sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto matta smurtir jnanam apohanam cha. So he's saying that, whatever memory, is only his mercy. But practice is how we get into his good books so that he is going to give us the mercy. There are devotees that think that, they can die in, let's say, Vrindavan, but they may not be purified enough. So some of those people at the last minute, some of their own family members, they take them out of Vrindavan, and then put them in a hospital. And then sometimes they have passed their lives out of Vrindavan. So how to understand this? So their desire was to leave their final time in Vrindavan, because that's what Shastra is telling, that, maybe, again, this is all we can only understand, we cannot judge, but this is how we have to understand, is that Krishna's mercy. And there are also cases where devotees, they're not in the devotee association. Somehow, Prabhupada's chanting goes on at the same time they're about to leave, or some other devotee association comes and they all come and then do, this happened. So
a live example here for Sudhakar and Swati's.
Yes.
Swati's dad's brother. He was existing here a couple of years ago, before COVID actually.
Can everybody hear that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And then when he was visiting here, he was in his 60s actually, 65 something. So he passed away, and he never practiced Bhakti Yoga. But it was Harivilas Maharaj who did the final rites. All of us, we went there, we chanted. The funeral was done properly as per the Shastras. And then it was a glorious departure actually. So even though he did not actually practice Bhakti Yoga, he never chanted, but he has some Purvajanma Sukriti, and then the last rites were happened, in the hands of Harivilas Maharaj.
Yeah. So that's how we can see the mercy of devotees. And again, mercy of the Lord, we will experience through the mercy of other devotees. So next time, how to apply this understanding of this particular tattva, which is, completely immersing ourselves in serving the deities. Again, this is why Harivilas Maharaj says, there is no difference between direct deity worship to pot washing, because everything is connected to Lord Seva. So in the absolute realm, there is no difference, right? So if we get pot washing, don't think that it is menial Seva. It's actually Maharaj says like it's the better one because you're not only washing pots, so you're also washing your own heart.
In February, I was in
You'll have to come here.
Somehow it's him only who I cannot hear. Prabhuji.
Yeah.
That is conditional hearing.
Because he's now nearby. Okay, go ahead.
So I was in Vrindavan and Govardhan. I met multiple, like we were 82 people, and 82 devotees from ISV, from ISKCON Silicon Valley, from Australia, from New Zealand, from the UK. And one of the devotees said that, what is a temple? If you walk into a ISKCON temple is Radharani's home. And you are helping clean Radharani's home. So even if you are cleaning a pot or clearing that,
The kitchen is
even the entire temple is
the kitchen is
correct.
Yeah.
Radharani's kitchen.
Correct.
Yes.
You're cleaning, taking up the trash or doing something, any seva that you're doing in the temple, you're doing it for Radha Krishna, right? You're not, it's not like you're doing it for the devotees there. So I think that stayed with me. And I'm practicing the same thing in our home as well. We are practicing, both me and my family. So we think like that now.
Yeah.
And then you said that when you were buying your home, Harivilas Maharaj said,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
Krishna's home.
Yeah, that actually happened. He came for Bhumi Puja. That was one of the, I think, October or something in the early mornings. It was pretty cold mornings, at 6:30 in the morning. So there was the Bhumi Puja. So obviously, we're in the path of bhakti, but we're not initiated anything, or like we're just hearing and so on. We thought like, okay, we're going to get into a new home. It's going to be temple, near temple, but it's our home. Right? The consciousness it's our home. So the first thing that Maharaj said is like, this is not your home. Like, who's going to pay for the mortgage? But yes, so it's the consciousness that, whatever the property that you're entering there, in fact, when we get into the home, what do we do Bhumi Puja? We're first of all displacing many living entities that have taken shelter on that same place. So the Bhumi Puja is to, again, offer that, this is for the purpose of serving Krishna only. So this will be a temple, again, that serves the Krishna. So that way, all those living entities are also merciful to give that space. And then, there is a process, there's a consciousness with which you purify. And then, but the idea is that, he said, this is a property of Krishna. You are there, temporary caregivers, use it in the service of Krishna, in a way that's his word is fulfilled, as we are serving him. So again, actually, Srila Radhanath Maharaj, when he came, that was almost 10 years ago, I attended one program. So at the time, again, very early days of devotion. So he was, after the program, I was telling him, I was asking him a question saying that, Maharaj, obviously you have dedicated your life, so you're completely doing only what pleases Krishna. But we're all in this material world, we're, doing business, this, that, and so on. So, but how do we, please do something that pleases Krishna? His first instruction was, do everything as best as you can. Because Krishna deserves the best. And everything is his property only. So do whatever you do, but do your best. So that was actually kind of the aha moment. It's like, okay, because otherwise we have this dilemma between, okay, this is devotional service, this is not devotional service. This duality in our mind might exist. But if we connect that even what we are doing is, first, obviously, there is a purification that will happen in our consciousness about what type of work we'll end up choosing. You cannot be in a marijuana store and then say, let's do our best. Right? So there is a purification of understanding, how you're using, and in what way it's helping the society, it's helping other consciousness of other living entities. All of that, it will come to us automatically. But assuming that even the work that we choose, first thing is we do the best so that again, karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That is, don't expect the results for your own sense gratification. Use those benefits, those outcomes to the service of the Lord. So then that is non-different from devotional service. So in that case, you are engaged in a devotional service because that feeds you and your family who are non-different from Vaishnavas, who are also other Vaishnavas. And whatever excess you also have, you are also using it in the service of Krishna. So it's Krishna's service. So in the same consciousness, here like Prabhupada was spending in Radha Landaneshwar. So Krishna deserves the best. So he would make sure that it's, and obviously our deities, like the standards of decoration over the last 15, 20 years is the exceptional quality now, right? Every time we go, particularly temples and all, every devotee comes up with, and beautiful dresses, the colors, the decoration, the detail that all these pujaris take to decorate them. And it happens like a clockwork. So, it requires so much of planning to please Krishna, to give the best to Krishna. So this is, for example, if you're in the back altar or in the main altar, don't ever gossip or talk some things that are irrelevant to the service of Krishna. It's very easy for us to think about what happened in our lives and then start getting engaged. Actually, I was listening again Srimad Bhagavatam classes. This is when the 4 Kumaras go to see Lord. So there is a description of the whole Vaikuntha. So in that Vaikuntha, there are many, many beautiful birds. And these birds actually can sing very, very beautifully. Chakravakas, cuckoo birds and whatnot. But they all actually stop singing as soon as they hear a bee buzzing. What is the bee buzzing? Krishna's names only. So other birds can actually sing better. But they all stop their singing just to hear the bee beautifully sing the glories of the Lord with its buzzing sound. So that shows the mood of, we should always keep the Lord's pleasure, Lord's satisfaction as the primary goal for devotees. Even in particularly today's Bhagavatam lecture, that was the purport Prabhupada talks about it. Only devotees focus on the satisfaction of the Lord. Karmis, they're doing for their satisfaction. Jnanis, they're also satisfying their mind, but it's their satisfaction. Yogis, they're also satisfying their desire to be liberated. But only devotees focus on the satisfaction of the Lord. So we have to change our consciousness to always think about whom we are pleasing. Obviously, Lord may not be here to tell us that he is pleased. So that's why we look at Guru. If Guru is pleased, if Guru's instruction we follow and Guru is pleased, then it's non-different from Krishna is pleased. Okay, then go back to the...
Yeah, any takers? Oh,
Yes.
I offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, who always engages himself in the activities like worship, clothing, ornaments, cleaning, and at the same time, who also engages all his disciples in similar activities.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
This is the most perfect.
So, should we break after this?
It's 1:45 now.
Yeah, because we also
We'll continue this next week. Any questions, comments, or reflections?
Yeah, so I think it would be good to hear. Maybe first we'll start online. Some of the people online, any feedback, thoughts, how we can improve. Of course, those are all for me. But if you have a realization, you have an anecdote, something that helps everybody else, also please share.
Any improvement for you? Oh. Jai Shri Mataji will fetch.
She is on the call?
Yeah.
Oh man, then don't worry. We'll save the time.
It's a wonderful opportunity, Prabhu, to discuss about the Guru. So Krishna will be more happy when we discuss about the glories of his children. That's what it's happening now. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for Srinivas Prabhu and wonderful Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? It would be good to hear multiple thoughts. Or what is the one takeaway? Now that's the actually easiest answer. Tell one thing that you remember, that you will take away after today's session. That is one thing.
Sneha, are you still with us?
So we'll go through online then.
She's always very enthusiastic, sharing
Sneha Mataji.
takeaways.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, I was feeding the baby. I could not unmute on time. Wonderful lecture.
You're already doing the devotional service, so you're excused.
In fact, when you said that, dressing up the deity is like dressing up your own child, I was actually dressing her up that time.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of activities actually around her by listening to your lecture, but it was very, very nice. The two-way authentication that you mentioned right in the beginning, that really struck. Actually, it's very nice analogy to actually give. And serving the Guru and all the quotes that you made regarding, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life mission, and how the Guru is also focused on that, and then you are serving the Guru. We don't have a Guru right now. We are not even close to any of that. But you mentioned that serving Harivilas Maharaj is like as good as serving your own Guru. So that is something we want to actually participate in, and going forward, we want to do more service, engage in more service. Last whole year was not very much feasible for us to do any service at all, actually. But as we are getting more grounded in taking care of our baby and in motherhood and parenthood, I think going forward we'll have more time serving the temple and Harivilas Maharaj.
Yeah, Mataji, particularly Prabhupada also gives this example for one of the devotees. Is that you are raising a child. As long as you raise the child in Krishna consciousness, that is already a big service. So, you have a responsibility as a mother, particularly for a young child who's completely dependent on you, that you should prioritize them first and don't think that that service is any different. As long as you are also teaching her, offering her prasadam only, you're also, teaching her if she's already at a point where you can teach her, teach Krishna consciousness, maybe, kirtans and Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chant for her. So, I think that's a seva. In fact, Bhagavatam particularly says a parent, a teacher, a leader of a society or a country cannot be in their position if they cannot deliver their citizens under them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best thing that you can do at this point of your life. Eventually, as you desire, I'm sure the child will be not only growing up and also become your service. So just wanted to kind of share that. In fact, Maharaj also encourages in the beginning years, particularly, go along with your child and do the same seva where your child also can participate. So that way you're teaching them by example.
Yes, Prabhuji. You also mentioned doing everything the best you can, the best way possible you can. So that is also something to think about in whatever small things we do at home. If we even do that the best way possible, like so just like keeping your home clean, like making sure it's the best standard.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. No. Okay, I think there is a question. What is the relationship or order of rendition or sequence of this Ashtakam versus Sri Guru Charana Padma? Vandanam, basically. So, you wanted to answer that one?
So we have a forgot his name. Madan Gopal Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So we have a session lined up on the next Ashtakam. Sri Guru
Okay, Prabhu.
Padma. So we have a session lined up pretty soon. Sridhar Gopal Prabhu is going to speak on that.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
2 to 3 weeks, so we'll have a session on that. That time it will be clarified. But other than that, I really don't know much difference between this and the other one. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we specifically this is for the whole Guru Tattva, whereas typically Sri Guru Charana Padma, we do the Prabhupada Puja.
Okay.
So that's a specific offering to Prabhupada. But again, I think if you see the meaning, you will get similar meaning.
Yeah.
In a way, not in the as much detail as this Gurvastakam gives.
I've seen
Okay, Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank
bro.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all the disciples.
Any other thoughts online? Any other takeaways?
Yeah, while doing Aarti to Prabhupada.
That is the same.
Yeah. That's it. As per the ceremony,
Jai Yadanandana Prabhu ki Jai Ho.
what is the difference in the meaning or the meaning of the two people?
Jaipal Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I know you had to do the. See, that he's an example. He's just finished the seva and
Krishna.
joined. Prabhuji, you have anything to share?
No, Prabhuji.
I think Prabhuji is reminding me of Maharaj says like now. How was the class? Very good, Prabhuji. What's that one thing that you remember? Yeah, everything about Krishna, everything about Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu, I'm just pulling your leg because I have that.
I mean, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing your experiences and also sharing verse by verse deep meanings.
Yes.
I want to listen the recording from the beginning. I joined late, so.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, so if anyone else, otherwise online, otherwise anybody here? Wonderful. Key takeaway, just to kind of recap for people online that couldn't hear. Mataji said, like, the need for Guru, because even though the ocean is out there, unless the cloud comes and then delivers us, that through that mercy of, karuna from the ocean, we cannot be liberated. So that is her realization that she needs to, accept or approach a bona fide Guru. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. And by the way, that's actually, I just want to share one personal experience. Because I was actually listening to Harivilas Maharaj since for a long time. And we all come from the material thing, like, you can't surrender to somebody else. Right? Because that's how you've been trained. You're self-made. You'll figure out. So that's how most of us think. So I was listening to Maharaj for a long time, actually. And then finally, this is around the 2020 when my father actually fell sick. So he was cancer infected. So he was in the deathbed, basically. So all the philosophy that you have been hearing, so finally now comes to, real, makes sense, right? It's like, so that's when Maharaj basically said, once I was like, I wanted to go see him, something he said. So that's not the real help. You become a sincere devotee, then you will help him and also, many generations before and after. So that was kind of the real impetus for me. Because until that time, it's like hearing, but taking the leap of faith that, we should take. So I think you can dovetail your personal desire, because I have always wanted to do the best thing for my parents. So see, Guru knows how to take that desire of yours and then dovetail to something greater. So in this case, he said, like, you become the sincere devotee if you want to help your parents in the right way, because that's what Shastra is telling. So that really helped me to kind of take that leap of faith that, what, this is the right thing to do. So I just wanted to share that. Hare Krishna.
Got to be Krishna saying to the Guru, you were saying to me.
Yeah,
there is no other way. So
yeah.
So, right. Wish came to an instruction.
Correct.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the Shastras that if one becomes a sincere devotee, the Lord, they can deliver 7 generations before and 7 generations after. Not only our parents, but 7 generations before and after.
Anyone else?
Sorry, can I add one point, Prabhuji, if you don't mind?
Yes, Prabhuji.
See, we are like we are in quicksand right now, so we cannot help ourselves. The only hope for us is Guru. So God has given us this great opportunity of Guru. So we may think that Guru is like us, normal, and whatever we do, he's also doing the same thing. But we should not. We should think that as per Shastra, whatever Krishna is saying is the real representative out of Krishna, as you said. So we should feel that the association of the Guru is not normal at all.
Not
so
at all.
Feel that it's a really great benediction for us in this Kali Yuga to have the association of Guru, particularly, and hearing from him, doing service either through Vapu or Vani. Association of the Guru is the only hope for us to come out of this material world. So we should take it seriously. So and serve Guru with submission and humility. So that is the only hope. But thank you so much, Prajavandi. You have wonderfully explained. Thank you so much. Thank you for carrying us through the glories of Krishna and reminding us about the Guru and Krishna, about Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much. Should we wrap up? Okay.
Yeah.
Unless anybody else wants to. Do you want to take something? You wanted to share something?
So I just want to share one point that in third Guru cannot even take much step and nothing works actually. That's what I understood.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best realization. I have taken 12 years of hearing constantly, but until that moment that clicks, actually, that's when you start to understand this whole surrender process.
Sometimes it's difficult to get a Guru right. I feel like in every conversation, the other person is like Guru, and something he will convey some message, something is strike you, okay, this is there is something he will say.
So I'll tell you, like in Uddhava Gita, Krishna says, actually, you're right in one way. A person who is actually in a completely humble mood can basically learn from everything around him. Right? So he can learn from the atmosphere, you can learn from the people, you can learn from birds, you can learn from animals. So you're completely right. You can learn from everything. However, it is an illusion to think that you are in that state all the time. Our false ego wants us to think that I can be in that consciousness. It wants us to think. That is how Maya works on us. Because Maya says, don't surrender. You are the boss of your own. Oh, by the way, they are telling this philosophy. That's also, I'm telling you, you are there. Maya wants you to think that you are there. But reality is we're not there. Right? I mean, did you know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead all by yourself? So right there, we didn't know. Now that we hear about it, do we have conviction that that is true? We're not there. So that's why real intelligence is to understand that I don't know and I need help. Yes, you need to obviously seek a bona fide guru, because in this current material world, there are so many fake gurus. Maharaj keeps saying there are gurus and there are kangaroos. So there is a need for us to be educated enough to understand who is a bona fide guru. And today's, whatever we are going through in Gurvastakam is a part of that, to understand how to assess a guru. Yesterday, actually, in Matra House program, there's a beautiful question somebody asked. So I'm a neophyte devotee. How do I know that somebody is actually a Uttamadhikari or a bona fide guru? How do I know? So Maharaj gave a very simple answer. Very simple litmus test. If somebody is always speaking about Krishna, he is guru, bona fide guru. Somebody is speaking a little bit about stocks and a little bit about Krishna, he is in your level only. And then somebody who is only talking about stocks or other things, then you know what his level is. See how he simply gave a litmus test. Because that's what we are hearing, right? Nitya Nana, like Nitya, basically. All these words are saying the guru is always engaged in the devotional service. So that is the guru. So now you look for such a guru. And then for such a guru, you should have full ability and willingness to surrender, no matter what his instruction is going to be. Because he is already Tattvadarshina. He's already seen the truth. For him, all material attractions are not attractive anymore. So he's only going to give you the truth. So that is the confidence Krishna is giving. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. Upadekshanti te jnanam. Because they're going to give the knowledge, because jnaninas tattvadarshi. He's already seen the truth. It's like, I already know how to go to Portland because I've already gone to Portland. It's like, then if you ask me, why would I, so there is no other motivation for me to distract you. In fact, I want you to even go faster than the path that I may have taken, or like the detours that I have taken. So that's why all these people, gurus, they are trying to spread the mercy, give the holy name very easily, very freely, through prasadam, through names, everything. So we have to understand that mood that they are in. But yes, going back to your primary point is that don't be in the illusion that, we can figure it out. Yeah, you'll read a verse and it will all make sense. I can guarantee you the very 1 hour or maybe half an hour after that, none of that you're able to put it into practice.
And that's what Arjuna did in chapter 1. He was the only speaker. He did not let Krishna speak at all. He was quoting Artha Shastra, Dharma Shastra, different scriptures, and saying that based on this clause, this RC will be based on this thing.
Code number this, code number that.
If it is an address, you can kill. But again, Manusmriti says that if the aggressor is a relative, you should not kill. So, and he was trying to figure out all by himself, and in the end, he figured, okay, I think it's not working out. Let me surrender. Beginning of chapter 2, he surrendered. And then that's when he accepted Krishna as Guru. Shishya Steham Shadiman Pam Prapanam. So I have soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me to your disciple.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One takeaway, Prabhuji, I was just contemplating. So if you simply please Krishna, if you simply please Guru, Krishna will be pleased. So that is one takeaway from today's class, Prabhuji. As long as you please Krishna, Krishna will be automatically pleased. So by simply doing whatever services Guru gives, you are automatically pleasing Krishna.
That's it. Actually, somehow, if we can understand that one instruction and not let our false ego come in the way of interpreting it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's going back to the Dāvānala-līd, right? We are in the fire, but we also have an umbrella. Krishna, Guru is come and he is dumping rain. We are like putting an umbrella right in the...
Right.
So get rid of that umbrella of false ego and let that drench us and cleanse us and let the fire of material existence be burnt away or like washed away. So that's our desire. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram.
Hare Ram. Hare Ram.
Ram.
Thank you, everyone. And whoever joined.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Before we leave, let's give a big round of applause to Chaitanya Sundara Prabhu for his time and research into this by saying Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Can be either Friday or Saturday. We'll announce in the group.
And now we are going to go and enjoy the Chaturvida Prasadam.
That comes in the next level. But we are having the...
Yeah, this is a practical way to experience the next verse right now. Hare Krishna.